Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Faith Encounter Music Broadcast. I am your host, Evangelist Mildrianne Clark. I thank God that all of you have taken out the time to tune into this broadcast, for this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is really, really good. Today I have a special guest. Yes, I do. I have a special guest today. This gentleman is oh my God, he's practically, I say, a genius unknown. Amen. Amen, man. This gentleman is, I know him as a musician. I know him as an entrepreneur. I know him as a real estate agent. I know him as a driver. And the new discovery about this man, I discovered him. I found him, or I found out he's an author. And we're going to discuss that. Brother, elder, pastor, doctor, bishop, apostle.
Oh,
no, I'm just playing. Demetrius Sandridge. Yay! Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
I
for
really
coming
that.
and showing and sharing what God has done for you, what God is doing, and what God is going to do. Thank you for coming and sharing that.
Thank you.
You wrote a book
Yes, ma'am.
called Breaking the Chains of Poverty.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I did.
What inspired you to write this book? What caused you? You have a dream?
Well, I mean, when you live in poverty so long, I mean, there's no other way but coming out.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of chronicle my life and what I wanted to accomplish and where I was and where I was trying to go. I wanted to kind of put that on paper to show people that you can absolutely break the chains of poverty if you can change your mindset. And once your mindset changes, your environment begins to look a little different. So,
When you say change your mindset, what comes to, what do you say? How do you change your mindset? Because some people say, how do you change your mindset?
well, your mind, I think, to change your mindset, you have to actually step out of the forest, if you will, because you can't see the trees. So once you're inside a situation, you really got to come out of that situation so you can be able to see exactly where you are. And when you change your surroundings, change your environment, you begin to see it's a little different on that side. And you just start following that, you know.
Right.
It creates a passion to do better.
Right. Breaking the chains of poverty. You have is a fresh strategic approach to empowerment. Somebody said it's not just a book, but it's a journey.
Right.
Tell us about your journey.
Well, my journey started many years ago.
Okay.
So let me just tell you this story here. I was working for the city of Detroit as a garbage collector, if you will, collecting garbage in the city.
Right.
You know, and we came to this one pile, and it was a lot of debris, a lot of furniture, like, you know, how people get set out. It was just a bad situation. So we were picking up the garbage, throwing it in the truck, and I came across this box, and this box had a book in it. And as I was throwing the box in the truck, the book fell out on the ground.
Wow.
So I put the box in the truck, and then I went to grab the book to throw it in the trunk. And as I was throwing it in the truck, I glanced at the title, and the title was The Power of Optimism.
Right.
And that's where everything started.
Right.
From that one book.
You know that says somebody's trash is someone else's
treasure. Yes.
So it was a treasure. They gave you a different outlook.
My goodness. And let me tell you this, Sister Clark, that was the very first book I've ever read.
Are you serious?
I kid you not.
As intelligent as you are you serious?
That was the very first book I ever read.
Wow.
And it changed my life. a book in the garbage.
A book, hey.
And it changed my life. Not that I didn't know how to read, I just didn't know how important it was to read.
To read, okay.
Right, and that was the first time that first page that I read as I was standing there in the back of that truck. I opened it up, and it like, oh my God, this book is so good.
You ever? There's a story. I come from a highly educated family. Everybody in my family got a degree. I'm 18 hours from getting my bachelor's. I'm one of the people that start something and never do anything. But I have a lot of people in my family. We have degrees, and we got some that don't. Oh, my family's. I love y'all. We got some that don't do nothing with their education,
right.
And we got some that do. I ran across a story where there was two people that finished from college, both had degrees, both finished, accolades, in their degrees, with their degrees and stuff.
Right.
And both of them worked at this company, and one, he was a supervisor of a small department, but one became the CEO of the company. Now, I say this to say, you got to do something with the knowledge that you have. So what I see is, and from my observations and from me knowing you for a while, look like you took whatever you knew and did something with it. So it's like, because when I saw you, you was just a musician.
Right.
Playing for us as a praise team, playing for me singing,
right.
All of the above. But you was just a musician. But I'm going to say this, I'm going to start something. But I've always saw the spirit of prosperity. But I just didn't know how to say it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know how you could sense it. And I was like, it's something to him, but I couldn't put it in the form. Or I'm just glad. Let me say that. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad that you wrote this book. Breaking the chains of poverty. Other than having a mindset, what else does a person need to do? You can take a mule to the water, but you can't make them drink it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody don't have it. No, it's like people look at our situation and there's no hope.
Right.
But how did you maintain your hope during your journey and say, hey, I'm determined. Hey, I'm going to make it. Hey, how did you come up with that concept? I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. Right. How did you maintain that attitude?
I guess when you really want something so bad.
Right.
I mean, you got to really want it like you want to breathe. Like, you ever come across your life where sometimes you feel like you're suffocating?
Right.
And you're fighting for air?
Right.
That's what you got to do for your purpose, for your destiny, for where you're trying to go.
Right.
And you gotta treat it that way.
Right.
You gotta. It's either do or die.
Wow. Do or die.
Do or die. I mean, there's no other option. You either got to make it happen. And so, like I said, we lived in poverty so long, and my mom worked several jobs to try to make ends meet. And I seen her struggle. I seen her driving cab. I seen her working for people as their housekeeper and their nanny, very, very wealthy people. Mm-hmm. And I saw her struggle, and I said, man, I got to do something. There's a better way. Mm-hmm. If he can live in that house, why can't I? If he can drive that car, why can't I? Mm-hmm. We have the same similarities. We have the same blood. Right. We human, yes. Whatever. Right. If they can do it, so can I.
I can. So
can I. And so I just stayed on that. Path. Look, mm-hmm. I got to make this happen. Right. I got to make it happen.
You made it happen. you made it. You made it happen. Thank the Lord. Yeah. Thank the Lord for that. Talk about your life. Talk about your life as a husband and as a dad, as a stepdad. How do you just touch on that a little bit?
Sure. As a husband, and I often say this, marriage is not for wussies. I hope that's I hope that's okay. I mean, to actually understand the dynamics of marriage, I've done this a few times, and I failed horribly at it, right? And you really gotta understand the severity of a commitment and blending the family. And if you're not prepared, I'm telling you, it's gonna wipe you out.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I've been married 3 times. This is my 3rd marriage. My first marriage, I just got married too young, and my mom said, "Hey, that's not your wife."
Yeah,
and I told my mom, "You don't know what you're talking about."
She was a seer. She was a seer. I don't
You
care
know
what
what you're
nobody
talking
say.
about.
She was a seer.
I said,
care
"Mama,"
nobody. Yeah.
I said, "Mama, I got
Right.
this. I got this." And that didn't last too long. So my second marriage, I was really trying to get over my first marriage because, I like companionship, and I like to have that family feel, that family unit.
Right.
And so I jumped out of that trying to pacify what I was actually missing, and not really paying attention to who I was marrying, because it's very important that you marry a person that understands you, a person that is going in the same direction as you.
Okay.
On the same road as you. And I was just trying to fill a void with my second marriage. I was just trying to fill a void, and that didn't work. So, now I'm married, and this is my 3rd marriage, and we have a child together. And I'm not saying everything is all peachy and cream, right? But I've learned a lot, as far as commitment,
Right.
as far as being faithful and being, committed to a marriage.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. How do how are you balancing? I always ask, you're not the only person, but balance plays a very important role
Right.
in all that you do.
Right.
Because you have a lot on your plate.
Right.
You wear a lot of hats, other than, because I'm going to hit on your entrepreneurship, but how are you balancing all that you do? How important is that balancing?
Oh, it's very
factor?
important. It's very important. You gotta schedule, your life based on what you love.
Okay.
And if family is what you love, then you have to schedule that. Don't leave that off your schedule.
Right.
Make time for your family. Make time for your significant other. You just really gotta make a commitment to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's just like like you plan to go to work. You plan to make a date, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Excellent. Entrepreneurship. We're going to touch on that a little bit.
Yep.
What brought you out of working for someone else into accomplishing your goal as an entrepreneur?
Right.
How did you make that happen?
I got a glimpse on the other side.
Yeah, as you stated earlier.
Yeah, I got a glimpse on the other side. The other side looked a lot better than the side I was on.
Okay.
And so I said, man, let's give this a try. Let's see. I mean, if he can do it, I can do it. So my first major credit card I got was like a $6,000 credit limit.
Right.
And so I took my credit card and I went to a trade show. They had a limousine there.
Right.
Right. And the limousine was like $3,000. Right. So I had enough on my card to make that purchase for that car. And I did that. And after I purchased the car, it needed some work and stuff. So I kind of put some repairs in it, and I got it licensed and registered with the state, and got my company registered. And I said, let's go for it. Let's do it. And so I did that. And so I grew to one car to a second car, from a second car to a third car. So I had a 3-car fleet, and I was the car washer, I was the accountant, I was the bookkeeper, I was the porter, I was the light auto mechanic. So I did all of this out of my 2-bedroom apartment.
This is your limousine business.
This is my limousine
Okay.
business. D Elegance Limousines.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, you remember that?
I remember. Yeah.
So D Elegance Limousines was the company that I started, and I ran that company out of my 2-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. And didn't nobody know I was in an apartment?
I did.
Because when I go at something, I make it look good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I make it. I just put the all the things in place that needs to be in place.
Right.
You know, to give it that ambiance, that look that I need to be a professional.
Okay.
So didn't nobody know I was running out of a 2-bedroom apartment.
No, you just come and pick us up when we go to church. That's all we knew. You never know, when you talk to people. Wow.
Right. Yep. So I did that.
Okay. Wow.
And landed some major accounts.
The people that you've driven around.
Yep. Remember the late Johnny Cochran?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was one of my clients. I've driven Magic Johnson, Sheryl Crow, Anita Baker.
Jay Leno wasn't one.
Jay Leno, of course. Yeah, Jay Leno was the best. He was actually the best. So Jay Leno didn't want to get inside let me tell this story. He didn't want to get in the back of the limo.
Right.
He was like, do I have to ride back here? I said, you don't have to. He said, yeah, I prefer to ride up here with you so I can talk to you. He says, I used to be a limo driver, and they treated me like crap. And he said, I don't want to do that to you. I want to kind of engage with you and talk to you as a person. You're human just like I am. So so that was pretty cool with him.
Wow,
Yeah.
excellent. Wow, wow. You just never know. You just never, like I said, you never, Brother D, you was always kind of quiet, laid back. You always was a gentleman of order.
Right.
Even the things that you would go through, it was questionable, but somehow you survived. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah.
You survived.
Yeah.
How do you survive? How do you overcome? How do you make it as a survivor? Because, for instance, like you, if I may talk about it, like you said, you had prostate cancer.
Yes.
How did you overcome that?
Prostate cancer?
Yes.
Okay. Prostate cancer was probably one of the most challenging things in my life.
Right.
Other than the death of my mother.
Oh, yeah.
But that was right next to it. So prostate cancer was something that I had to wrap my mind around and accept.
Okay.
Okay. But your question to me is, how did I survive?
Right.
I remember all of the prophecies that I got.
Yeah.
I remember people saying that you would be a wealthy young man.
Right.
I remember people saying that you would be successful.
Right. They weren't prophet-lying.
They was not prophet-lying. I hope they wasn't.
No, they wasn't.
So,
I mean, yeah.
You asked me, how did I survive?
Yeah.
I remembered all of the promises. I remember everything that every prophet ever prophesied to me and spoken to my life.
Right.
And I said, God, this is how I'm going to go out. Is this how I'm going to go out?
Right.
After all of that you've said through your prophets, through the men and women of God that have come into my life.
Right.
And I said, no, you're not going to let me go out like this. I'm going to hold on to your promises.
Wow.
I'm going to hold on to your promises.
So the key factor is holding on.
Holding on to what you believe.
Right.
Regardless to how you feel.
Right.
Regardless to what your circumstances are.
Right.
Hold on to what you believe.
Thank the Lord.
And what you believe, you'll be able to receive it.
Amen. So your belief system in God.
It's played a major role in every part of my life.
Right.
How I believe. It's played a major role in everything that I do.
Amen. When does this book come out?
This book drops, so we got a launch party in November, November the 11th.
Where?
At the American Bistro in Detroit on Livernois. It's 1917 American Bistro.
Okay.
That's the restaurant. It's right there on Livernois on the Avenue of Fashion between 8 Mile and 7, between 7 and 8 Mile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's American Bistro.
I know where this.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do, the book launch party. That's November the 11th at 3 p.m., 3 to 6. And if you...
Okay, what time? I mean, what day is that? Is that
It's on a Saturday.
Okay.
Yep, it's on a Saturday. And if your listeners want to come out and be a part of this celebration with us, they can go to my website and go ahead and subscribe to the website, and that'll automatically get your reservation down for.
Okay. Speaking engagements, how would somebody contact you, or if somebody needs you to talk about your book or to speak or preach, lay hands on the sick, all that?
They can reach me through my website, or they can call me directly.
D. Sandridge.
Yeah, www.dsandridge.com. That's d.sandridge.com, dsandridge.com, or 248-476-4317.
Okay,
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. We've talked about the book. We've talked about everything. After the book, what's coming up? Any sightings of writing another book, or?
Yeah, I'm actually working on another book right now.
Okay.
I want to deal with not just poverty. I want to deal with modern day slavery.
Excellent.
So I want to talk about that, because we're in a climate right now where our country is trying to take us back to a place where God has delivered us from.
Amen.
And I need to speak to that.
Yeah.
I need to speak to that.
And to keep the maintain that we're free.
We're free.
Yeah, we're free.
Yeah.
We're free in God first.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Because some people are bound in their minds, and some people are bound in their spirits. So we're free in God first. All right. You can find this book on Amazon, and where else?
Amazon. You can go barnesandnoble.com, Amazon. You can get it off my website, www.dsandridge.com.
Okay.
And, it's in stores all over.
All right.
Yep, all stores.
Okay.
Yep.
What do you tell? And like I said, I ask everybody that comes on my show, what do you say to that person who has a desire of whatever they want to do? Your desire to be a fashion designer, a desire to be a writer, a desire to be a musician. What do they need to do? What advice you would give them to accomplish their dream as a whole?
Okay. I think that's an excellent question, and I do talk about that in the book. It's kind of ironic that you brought that up. The first thing that a person has to do is understand if their desire is actually their purpose, or if it's just what they desire.
So know your desire, know your purpose.
Yeah, you got to know the difference between what you really want versus who you really are.
Is it fair to say some people have a lost identity?
Of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when you're not accomplishing what you have been sent to earth to do, there's a void in your life.
Wow.
And until you fill that void, you'll never find true happiness.
Jesus.
People get jobs, they go to school to do certain things, and end up doing something totally different what they studied to do.
Amen.
Right?
See it all the time.
All the time. You got to follow your purpose and not your passion.
Okay.
People get passionate about a lot of things, right? Sometimes that passion is created because you see your friend doing it. You see somebody else. You see the church across the street doing what you think you should be doing, right? And that's not the case all the time.
Right.
Sometimes your passion is developed because you're around certain things at a certain time, but your purpose is a lot different.
Wow. Oh, wow. I see you say the secret to having a wealthy, healthy, and wholesome life. What makes it a secret? Why do you say it's a secret? How do you come up with the formula to come out of the chain of poverty?
So the secret to having a wealthy, healthy, and wholesome life is what I just said. I'm just going to piggyback off what I just said. Is finding your purpose.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's the secret. If you look at most successful millionaires, let's say Oprah Winfrey, let's say Bill Gates, let's say Steve Harvey, right? These individuals didn't do anything special to accomplish their goals. I'm not saying they didn't work hard. I'm not saying that, right? What I'm saying is that they found what they were created to do, and they mastered it.
Oh my God, okay. Amen.
Right?
Amen.
And when you master the thing that you were created to do, guess what happens? When God see that you've been a good steward over this little bit I've given you,
help us.
He'll broaden your territory.
Help us.
He'll broaden your surroundings, right?
Right.
Because you were faithful doing comedy at a little strip, at a little club, right?
You're right. You're saying something. You're really saying some things.
He'll expand your territory when you've handled journalism. I'm talking about Oprah Winfrey now, right? When she handled a little spot she was at. Look what she's doing now, right? Because you figured out what your purpose was, you mastered that, you took care of it, and God said, okay, now that you're a good steward over that little thing, I'm going to bless you and expand your territory. It's a principle.
Yeah.
It's a principle.
Yes.
And that's how I've been able to accomplish things that I've accomplished, because when I was a musician, I was faithful.
Yes, you were.
Right.
Amen.
Not even when I wasn't playing, I made sure that when we were in a little small church, it was just a couple men there, right? 90%, 98% women, right?
Oh my God.
And so what I would do was I would make sure that the women were taken care of.
Yes, you did.
I would clean the snow off the window,
yes, you
right?
Did.
I would start the car, right? I would walk them to the car, to make sure they got in safely, right?
That's true.
I took care of the area that I was responsible for.
Because there were times you were the only man. There was time nobody was there but you on a Sunday night.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a Sunday night. On a Sunday night. I ain't talking about Sunday morning. I'm talking Sunday night church. You was the only man. Right, we were all in there with our babies and stuff. Oh, my God. Ooh, I'm having flashbacks. Okay. But, yeah.
Yeah, so I took care of the little things, and I was faithful and a good steward over what God put into my trust. And so he saw that I could be faithful with that, and he expanded my territory.
And that's what you're saying. When he sees that you're faithful.
When he sees it, right. When he sees it. Not what people see. It's when God can see it.
When God sees that when you're faithful over the few things, then he will make you ruler
over many.
Thank you so much, Brother Demetrius, for coming. I really thank you for coming. Amen, amen, amen. Please tune in next time. Take time to purchase the book, Breaking the Chains of Poverty by Demetrius Sandridge, forward by Ronald L. Godby Sr. Amen, amen. As they said it on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com.
And my website.
And your website, any Bible bookstores or just...
all the bookstores.
All the bookstores.
Yeah, all the bookstores, yep.
Amen,
all the
amen.
bookstores, yep.
Make sure you purchase this book. It will be a value, an added value to your library. May God bless all of you. And again, until next time, you all stay blessed.
Bless you.